Hey everyone, this is Ashley Ellenboss with Skyhouse Herb School and Apothecary, and today I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks for getting kids to take herbs. Now, this is something I've had a lot of experience with. I have two daughters. Their ages are 6 and Summer's about to turn 4. And ever since they were little, I've been giving them herbs. I have to say that I have been giving probably both of my girls herbs since they were taking solid food between 6 and 9 months old. So they are safe for kids. You know, most herbs are safe for kids. Of course, you do want to do your research and make sure. But, you know, a lot of our tonic herbs are really helpful for keeping kids' immune system strong, for giving them the nutrients and vitamins they need to build strong bones and connective tissues and all of those things that are really necessary during those early years of growth. And I think even, you know, another important piece about that is that you want to get your child's taste buds acclimated to a whole range of flavors. Otherwise, what happens with a lot of Western kids is that they really only know the flavors of like salty and sweet and fatty, or I think umami is the traditional word. And they don't really know and they don't really appreciate the bitter, the astringent, and the spicy or pungent tastes. So I think by introducing them to herbs, their palates can begin to develop and they can become more tolerant of different tastes and even more curious about different tastes. So here's how I do most of my herbs with my girls is in the form of tea. Now, my girls love in the mornings. My older one asks for tea every morning. My younger one still wants warm milk and honey. So, you know, I don't fight them on it. I don't make them drink tea. I just give them the options and then they get to choose. So this is probably one of the best inventions that I have found. This is made by, let me look underneath. It's made by Fort Life. I think I bought it on Amazon. But what it is it's a tea strainer for loose tea. And what I love about this particular one is it has a really big basket. So you can fit a lot of herbs in it. And that's the thing about really using herbs is you need to use enough of them to get them in the body, to get the compounds in there, especially your tonic herbs. So this is the batch that I made for my daughter this morning. And some of you might be asking, how did you get your girls to like the green, bitter, weird tastes of the herbs? And the answer is I started them off with nettles. I would make big mason jars full of nettles. I would be drinking them all the time. And then my girls would ask for a sip. And they liked it. They instantly liked it. It's a very clean, green, grassy flavor. And so now I incorporate nettles into the tea blends I make for them. The other way I got my girls to drink teas that are not as, I would say, kind of plain is by incorporating flavored tea bags. Now, if you're an herbal purist, you might be like, you know, you might have some judgments, but if you are a mom and you're looking for solutions, this is a surefire solution. So this is made by the Republic of Tea in natural unbleached tea bags. It's a caffeine-free herb blend of rooibos with strawberry and chocolate flavors. It does not have it has vanilla beans in it, but it has natural chocolate and natural strawberry flavor. It's not the same thing as chocolate or as strawberry. It's flavoring. So is it 100% pure? No. But what it does is it makes everything you brew taste good. And I have not met a child that does not like strawberry and chocolate flavor. So what I do is in my little basket, I'll put that tea bag in first. And then a great way to get your kids engaged is to let them pick out the herbs. So I have all of my herbs in jars like this on a big shelf. And then I have a drawer full of bags of herbs like these, where there's like a little window where you can see. So either one is fine. But the best way to get your kids to like herbs is to do it themselves. So I allow my kids to choose the herbs that they want. Now, in the mornings when it's a rush to get to camp or to get to school, I just put it together myself. Knowing what I know about herbs, I blend it for them. But I have the ones all available to them that are safe and for them to use, you know, in as much as they could fill in here. And I don't police them. I just let them go. And if something's really bitter, like one day Summer she put a bunch of blue vervain in, which is a great sedative, a nervine, but it's super bitter. And I didn't say a word. I just let her put it in. And then she brewed it and she goes, "Oh, what's that flavor?" And I said, "Oh, that's bitter." And she goes, "Oh, I think it's too much bitter." I said, "Yeah, it might be too much. Well, we can add some honey to it." And so the opposite of bitter is sweet. So if you ever come up with a tea that's too bitter, add honey or your preferred sweetener to it. But she then associates now, she now knows what that taste of bitter, and it's not yuck, bad, gross. It just has a name. And I think that's really helpful for kids so that they don't have these associations. And because she made it, she had some investment in it. She didn't want it to taste bad. She put her energy in. She wanted it to be okay, but she did notice something was in there that she didn't love. And so I just let them play like that. And I encourage you to do the same. And your children they'll start to know, they'll start to understand different flavors. They'll learn the names, and they'll often ask for what it is they need. Like my older daughter right now, she has really bad allergies. So she said, "Mom, can you make me some tea and put extra nettles in?" Because she knows that nettles are good for allergies. So I put in a bunch of nettles. I also put in some licorice, which is a nice anti-inflammatory and can help modulate the immune system. I put in some burdock because burdock is always a good grounding herb and a little bit sweet for kids. The other thing about licorice is quite sweet. And my daughter Gigi loves that flavor of licorice. So I always put licorice in her teas. And yeah, and that's one way how I get my kids to drink teas. Now, the other way my girls love to take herbs is through tinctures. So this is a company. Let's see if it will come into focus here. This is 5 flavor herbs. I think I need to get closer. You can see 5 flavor herbs. This is their back to school blend. This is a Chinese formula that's been modified, jade windscreen, that also has elderberry. And this is one that my kids take for immune and respiratory support throughout the year. 2 milliliters, about 3 droppers full is the dose, 2 to 3 times a day. So ever since my girls were, I want to say maybe a year and a half or so, I started giving them tinctures, and both alcohol tinctures and glycerin tinctures. Now, to me personally, the amount of tincture or the amount of alcohol in about a teaspoonful of herbs is about the same as in a super ripe banana. It's not harmful to the child. It's not going to intoxicate them. It's not going to stress their liver. Unless, of course, your child has liver conditions, then you may want to stick with a glycerin. But if your children are mostly healthy, then, and their liver function is normal, doing a little bit of tincture every day it's not bad for them. And again, it starts to introduce new flavors to their bodies. I wonder sometimes when I didn't have any of this introduction when I was a kid. And I wonder, if alcohol would have been, I just remember the first time I drank alcohol, and it was such a new flavor and there was such a rush and so much like mystery around it, that, maybe if I had had a little bit more exposure to it, like I know in a lot of European countries, they let kids sip wine, or, it's not as taboo to let a child have a little bit of alcohol. So, I just want them to know the word alcohol. I want them to know the flavor, and to understand that it can be, it's what we use in tinctures to preserve them as a medicine. And then, of course, as they get older, they'll learn other other ways people use and abuse alcohol. So that's one. So I do give them this tincture. I also use glycerin. So this is a nice herb farm makes this echinacea, kids echinacea glycerin that is orange flavored, and they really like that. I also give them vitamin D every day because of its, maybe not as much in the summer. Maybe I give it like once a week in the summer, but in the winter a lot because it's so good at keeping their immune system strong. And I have a drawer in my kitchen, which has all of the tinctures and then probiotics and pretty much everything. So every morning when the girls come down while I'm making breakfast, they open up the drawer and I let them, they take all of their vitamins. They know exactly how many to take of each one. And it's good responsibility building, I think, in kids to let them do it, like to trust them. You want to watch them, but at 6 years old, they're very capable of doing that. So my 6-year-old will give my 3-year-old her vitamins. She'll take her own vitamins. And it's a whole ritual. It's a part of our morning ritual, and they love it. They love, and what we'll do, this little song, we'll go vitamins, vitamins, and then they'll come, when they were littler, I would sing that, and then they would come running to get their vitamins. Now they sing it and they go vitamins, and then they open the drawer and they get their own. So, you can start this really at any age, but make it playful and fun, and ask them, what does that taste like to you? Orange? I taste lemon. Or what is this one? Like just, oh, that flavor. Yeah, that's bitter. Or, oh, that's really sweet, right? So they start to get this vocabulary even with tinctures. There's a lot of other ways, maybe in other videos I will share, like making shrubs and, getting your kids to garden with you. Those are all great ways to get them engaged. But, hands down, like the two things that I use the most, and the two easiest ways for me to get herbs into my girls, is these two ways, is by tinctures or droppers and by tea. So I hope that's helpful. I hope it's useful. Tell me what you think. If you have other tricks or other tea brands, let me know. There's this other one that I also bought that my children like. It's peppermint chocolate. So my girls were kind of afraid of mint. I think I accidentally put my toothpaste on their toothbrush, and they're like, oh, this is mint, it's terrible. So they had this negative association with mint. So then I got this tea to try to help them enjoyment, and now they'll ask for the peppermint chocolate tea. And so that can be a nice one, especially if they're congested, or there's you want to kind of thin the mucus and help them breathe. The peppermint can be really a nice one to add in there. So both by Republic of Tea. No affiliation with them. You buy them where you want. It doesn't matter to me. All right, well, that's all. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys again soon. Have a good day.